College football fans are lying to themselves about their team, the transfer portal, recruiting rankings, preseason hype, playoff expectations, and what it actually takes to win a national championship. And I'm not saying that my fan base is above it. Every fan base does this. LSU fans do it. Alabama fans do it. Georgia fans do it. Ohio State fans do it. Texas fans do it. Every offseason, fans convince themselves their team is closer than it really is. And the lie always starts the same way. We finally got the quarterback. We fixed the defense. Portal class changed everything. The schedule sets up perfectly. Young guys are ready. The new coordinator is different. Then suddenly, a team that went 7-5 last year convinces themselves that they're a couple bounces away from a playoff run. No, they're not. Sure, they might be better. They might even be more exciting. They might win a couple more games. But better does not mean elite. And this is where fans lose their minds. Because college football fans do not judge their own team honestly. They judge their team based on a version they want to exist. They take every weakness and call it a question mark. They take every question mark and call it upside. They take upside and pretend that it's proof. That's how fan bases talk themselves into nonsense. Quarterback has a few good throws in the spring game, and now he's the answer. A transfer comes in from another big name program, and he's automatically a difference maker. A coach says the culture is better, and now everybody acts like the entire program has been rebuilt. A recruiting class signs, and fans start acting like high school rankings are already wins on Saturdays. That's not how this sport works. College football will humble you fast. It doesn't care about message board hype. It doesn't care about offseason edits. It doesn't care about how many stars somebody has next to their name. It doesn't care that your fan base feels disrespected. At some point, you have to line up against a real team and prove it. That's where the truth comes out. Because there's a real difference between having talent and having a complete roster. There's a difference between being dangerous and being built to win big games. There's a difference between having a few good players and having championship depth. Most fans don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about the quarterback. They want to talk about the receivers. They want to talk about the portal class. They want to talk about the new offense. Nobody wants to ask the hard questions. Can your offensive line block an elite defensive front? Can your defensive line stop the run? Can your quarterback make the right read when his first read is covered? Can your secondary survive against elite speed? Can your coach manage a tight game against a top 10 opponent? That is where the season is decided. Not in May, not during media days, not because some analyst called your team a sleeper. And a lot of fan bases walk into the season with fake confidence. But deep down, they know it. They know that the offensive line is questionable. They know that the quarterback isn't proven. They know that the defense still has the same problems. They know the schedule isn't as easy as they're pretending. They know that the team they're hyping up needs everything to break perfectly just to win 10 games. But nobody wants to say that out loud because being realistic is boring. Being realistic doesn't win arguments online. So fans choose fantasy instead. And the transfer portal has made it worse. Portal has tricked fans into believing that every problem can be fixed overnight. Add offensive line? Portal. Quarterback graduated? Portal. No depth? Portal. And yes, the portal matters. You can definitely upgrade your roster. You can fill some holes. You can add experience. But fans act like the portal is a magic wand. It's not. A transfer still has to fit. He still has to produce. Still has to handle he still has to handle his role, the system, the pressure, the locker room, and the schedule. Some portal players are stars. Some are just names. Fans do not always know the difference. They see where a player came from and assume he's better than what they already had. They see stats from another conference and assume that they'll translate. They see a highlight clip and ignore everything else. That is not an evaluation. That is desperation dressed up as optimism. Same thing happens with preseason hype. If the media ranks your team high, suddenly the media knows ball. If the media ranks your team low, everybody's sleeping on you. Which one is it? You can't say the media is clueless every time they doubt your team. Then use those same rankings as proof when they hype you up. That's lying to yourself. And the expanded college football playoff is going to make it even worse. Now, more fan bases are going to act like they're national title contenders just because they have a path to get into the playoffs. But making the playoff and winning a national championship are two completely different things. More access does not mean that more elite teams exist. It just means more teams get invited. There are teams that can make the playoff. There are teams that can win a playoff game. And there are teams that can win the entire thing. Those are not the same thing. A 10-2 team with a favorable schedule might be good enough to get in. That does not mean they're good enough to beat a team with NFL players all over the roster. That does not mean they can survive 4 quarters against elite line play. That does not mean they have the quarterback, the defense, the depth, and the coaching to win multiple games against the best teams in the country. The playoff did not erase the talent gap. It just changed the bracket. And that is what fans do not want to admit. Everybody wants to believe that their program is one move away, one quarterback away, one coordinator away, one recruiting class away. Some teams are not one move away. Some are 3 years away. Some need a complete rebuild. Some need a new identity. Some are not even honest enough to know how far they are away. And if you can't be honest about what your team actually is, you will never understand what it needs to become great. Instead, fans blame everything else. The refs, the committee, the media, the schedule, the conference, the injuries, the disrespect. And yes, some of that matters, but not every loss is complicated. Sometimes your team just got beat because the other team was better. Sometimes your quarterback just wasn't good enough. Sometimes your defense was soft. Sometimes you get outcoached. Sometimes your roster isn't deep enough. And sometimes the thing that everybody warned you about in August is the exact thing that ruins your season in October. There's nothing wrong with hope. That's part of being a fan. Talk trash. Be excited. Believe that your team can surprise people. But there's a difference between confidence and delusion. Confidence is saying we can take a step. Delusion is acting like better is automatically championship caliber. Confidence is saying the quarterback has upside. Delusion is treating upside like production. That is the line that fans cross every year. They want every transfer to hit, every freshman to be ready, every coach to improve, every rival to fall apart, every close game to go their way. That is not a prediction. That is a fairy tale. So yes, college football fans are lying to themselves because every fan base wants to believe that this is the year. This is the year the quarterback becomes a star. This is the year the defense gets fixed. This is the year our coach proves everybody wrong. This is the year the recruiting finally pays off. This is the year the portal changes everything. This is the year the program is finally back. But eventually the season starts. The talking stops. The helmets go on. And the truth doesn't care about how badly you want it to believe. Your team is either good enough or it's not. Most fan bases already know the answer. They just don't want to say it.